Okay.
Hello, good day. My name is Johan Hubert. You're all sitting in a stoep of Kleine Zalze. Today it's been a privilege to present you the wine from tasting.mp4 that we made specifically in terms of a style for your market. It's a privilege to work at Kleine Zalze because at Kleine Zalze we working with products that we specifically trace from the vignettes in the raw products to end up to a specific style of wine. To illustrate this for a start is to talk you through from the Sauvignon Blanc. This is where we realize in South Africa we have about 5 different regions where we get our grapes from, and each different region give a specific quality and fruit level that we use for ending up in this blend. The primary region is Stellenbosch, then we use Darling grapes, Durbanville grapes, Walker Bay and West Coast. It was very important that when we selected these grapes, it had to be nearer than about 10 kilometers from the sea, because that way we can ensure that the fruit level of our Sauvignon Blancs is up to a standard. What is very interesting is that our Sauvignon Blanc from Stellenbosch give us a lot of green fig flavors, good complexity. The grapes from Durbanville, a lot of green pea flavors. These of Darling, asparagus. And then it's very important that the ones from up at West Coast, a lot of pepper flavors that we get from the fruit that we produce. And then for the length and for the legs of the Sauvignon Blanc, we use a bit of Walker Bay. So very interesting is we fermented these grapes separately into tanks. Keep it for about 4 to 6 months under lease to come up with this Sauvignon Blanc Kleine Zalze cellar selection. Also gold winner at the Michelangelo show this year for the whole volume that we bottled. And that's just a token of the pride that we put in each of the regions, understanding the different regions and understanding what each of the regions contribute to the final product. Beautiful, wild texture, full structured wine with beautiful fruit, well balanced fruit, not into your greener or too much into your tropical style. And the wine that we know with skin contact, with least contacts that can fulfill the mouthfeel. And that's really a wine that we seen that successfully grown at Kleine Zalze in terms of volume. The second wine we're going to do is the Merlot 2010. This is where we know that when we work with Merlot grapes, you can have easily a lot of greenness and harshness to the grape. Especially when you don't take care about your production levels. The last couple of years, our first aim was to make sure that we cut our grapes in terms of bunches by green bunch dropping. We take the crop down from about 6-7 tons per hectare to about 4 tons per hectare. And that way we make sure that we have efficient amount of leaves to ripen, optimum ripen these grapes, and to make sure that we don't pass the alcohol levels. So we look for physiologically ripe grapes at lower sugar levels. These grapes are 100% from our estate and work this way through. There's about 70% of Italian clones, about 30% of French clones, which is the right balance for us at this stage in terms of the tannins, to make sure that we have the softness and the subtle and the fruitiness of the grape. Again, you will see a really dark, rich color, which is very important for us to have it from the right production levels. The wines then went for about 12 to 14 months in 3rd and 4th fill barrels to mature it and to give it soft complexity. Importantly is that we also make use of the pump over and the punch down system to make sure that we reach the right extraction level. Beautiful vintage 2010. We find that the fruit are really clean, they are really subtle. There's nice dark berry fruit, a bit of chocolate and spicy on the palate, and importantly for us to get back to that firmness in the aftertaste, to make sure that we find this level of Merlot fruit at the end and the touch on the tongue. But the wine that we really is growing tremendously for us the last couple of years. Then the Cabernet Sauvignon. We all know that the family parents of the Cabernet Sauvignon is Sauvignon Blanc and Cabernet Franc. And importantly is when you work with these grapes, is that you make sure that you reach, again, optimum ripeness. But important is the pyrrhocine levels of the Sauvignon Blancs are always very dominant, of the Sauvignon Blanc parent varietal are always very dominant in Cabernet Sauvignon. And for us is we make a big study about it to make sure that when we use canopy management, that we find efficiently as low as possible pyrrhocine levels before picking these grapes. This is different clones, C46C, 38B, but importantly each of the different clones, they contribute to a different structure in the final blend. These grapes are again all from the estate. This is also the feeders of our vineyard selection range and our family selection range. We are very proud about this varietal at Kleine Zalze. Now for 2 years, 5-star John Platter wines, the Kleine Zalze Family Reserve Cab. So importantly is when we start with working on the quality level of grapes, that we start with our basis wines. Each of these blocks are, again, the green bunches has been dropped. The crop is between 4 and 5 tons per hectare, and that way we make sure that we find these round of blackberry, spicy fruit, and also a bit of tomato leaf character on the finish. We find that our Cabernets has very strong stylistic identification with wines, and also some of the leading cabs in South Africa at that stage. Good structure, firmer tannin, but not dry, not too harsh at the end. Important to find that right balance. Again, it's important that we make use of, again, second and third fill barrels, not overwooded your wine, and make sure you do catch the right fruit for the right balance sensation. We're really proud of this range of wines. I think Kleine Zalze has stepped up their level the last couple of years. And to summarize it, there's just back to basic 5 things. It's about focus on the right grapes in the right regions to get the right fruit from. Secondly is to use our gravitation cellar, hand sorting tables, to make sure that we only find the cleanest and the purest fruit. Then thirdly is we use 2 methods. The one is skin contact on the white and on the reds as well, but least contact on the whites is contributing to a lot of fruit extraction. The red stays on its skins for about 2 weeks after it's been fermented to make sure that you find the right phenolic balance in terms of softness and maturiness. And then important for us is this wines had to be really finished off and matured in an area that we not harsh into the newer vintage. So you will find sometimes that our Sauvignon Blancs, even after opening up the bottle, the wine will go the extra 2, 3, 4, 5 days without any problem and go into fruit. We like Kleine Zalze in future to keep on focusing on the 3 varietals. Basically it's because we're working on a Cabernet Merlot blend as well. Importance that through my visits in Bordeaux and regions, we know that in South Africa we have the sunlight, we have the fruit, and we must make sure that we find the right softness and pureness and cultivar varietal.